everyone, my name is Allison. I'm the Public Program Specialist here at the Peel Art Gallery Museum and Archives, otherwise known as PAMA, located in downtown Brampton. Welcome to our first week of summer staycation activities, where every week this summer we're going to offer a bunch of different fun things that you can do at home, a video you can follow along with, and some step-by-step instructions for different activities that'll help you make your own artistic masterpieces. This week's activity, we're going to use something that's called STEAM principles to make our own artwork. STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Math. This week, we're going to use basic shapes and colors to make our own geometric art that pops. This art that pops is going to be today's windsock. So a windsock is something that uses the wind to help pilots or people in aviation to tell which direction the wind is coming from and how fast it's going. Our windsocks are going to use printmaking techniques and patterning to create your own work that is unique to you. Before we get started, let's talk about printmaking. Printmaking is a technique in art that transfers an image from one surface onto another. There's a lot of different ways that you can do this. Today's technique is going to be called relief printmaking, and that's where you have an image that's on a raised surface or has a pattern on it and is transferred over to the other piece of paper like a stamp. We are going to explore printmaking in a version of patterning today. So a pattern is something that repeats at least more than once. So that could be the letter A, B, A, B, or it could be red, yellow, green, blue, red, yellow, green, blue. It's up to you however you want to use your pattern, but today we're going to use it when it comes to repeating different shapes. Okay, the first step in making your geometric windsock is to get all of your materials together before you start. So the first thing you need is a large piece of white paper. If you don't have this at home, you can always use Bristol board. That works really nicely. You need some small pieces of cardboard. You need some fun foam. So this is something that's really easy to find. Mom and Dad can help you look for it online, or you can find it at the dollar store as well. You need some string or some yarn, a pair of scissors, a hole punch. You need some paint, a paintbrush, a plate, some masking tape, and you need some tissue paper. So once you've got all of your materials together, then you're ready to get started. So the first step is you're gonna take your piece of foam and you're gonna draw some fun shapes on there. So for me, I decided to do a square, a triangle, and I've already cut out my circle. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna draw it onto your foam and then take your scissors and cut your shapes out. Once your shapes are cut out, then you're gonna take your glue stick and you're gonna glue them onto your piece of cardboard. Make sure you get a lot on there, and then you're gonna have to press down really hard to make sure it stays in place. So this is what you are going to be making your prints with. So these are now kind of like your own little stamps. Once you've got them all ready to go, you have to think of the pattern that you're gonna wanna do. So I think I'm going to go circle, then a triangle, and then a square. You're gonna add a bit of paint, make sure you shake it nice, onto your paper plate. So you can do this two ways. You can either take your stamp and push it right into the paint, just like that. But as you can see, it gets to be a bit too much on there. So you're gonna use your paintbrush, and you're gonna take a little bit off just to make it a bit neater. Then you're gonna take your piece of paper and you're going to press your stamp onto your paper. Push nice and hard and hold it for about 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And then you're gonna pick it up, and there you go. Now, you've got your first stamp on your page. Okay, then we're gonna do the next one. So I said I'm gonna do circle, then a triangle. This time I'm gonna try adding just a little bit with my paintbrush instead of stamping it in. So you can do either or, and then you're gonna stamp it onto your page too. For your stamps, you can go either vertically, so going from the top of the page all the way down to the bottom, or you can go horizontally from one side to the other. It's up to you. For mine, I'm gonna go vertically. And then we're gonna follow with our last shape. Press down nice and hard, and there you go. So there is your first sequence of your shapes. Okay, and then you're gonna repeat and do the exact same thing all over again, except you can change your pattern this time if you want to. So I don't have two circles beside each other, this time I'm gonna start with my triangle and put my triangle beside my circle, and then I'm gonna do my square, and then I'm gonna finish this round with my circle. There you go. Okay, so you're gonna keep that pattern going and cover your entire sheet. So in the end, it's gonna look something like that. So you've got your whole sheet that's covered in your pattern. As you can see with this one, my pattern was a triangle, a square, a circle, a triangle, a square, a circle. And then it repeats throughout the entire page. While we wait for our artwork to dry, you're gonna take your scissors and you're gonna cut some tissue paper to make the streamers that are gonna fall at the bottom of your windsock. So for this part, you might need to be a bit patient because it's kind of hard to cut in a straight line. So you're gonna cut the paper lengthwise because you want it nice and long strips. I stacked a bunch of different colors together so that I don't have to cut them all individually. That just makes things a bit easier sometimes. So there you go. Now you've got a whole bunch of tissue paper strips, just like that. So you're gonna take your full piece of paper and some masking tape. So with your masking tape, you're gonna make it into a little bubble just using your thumb and your forefinger. And you're gonna attach it to the end of your streamer, just like that. And then you're gonna take your streamer and you're gonna tape it to the bottom of your piece of paper. So this is where you can pick another pattern that you can choose for what order the colors you want at the bottom of your paper to be. So I'm gonna start with yellow, and then I'm gonna have red, and then I'm gonna use orange. So as you go, make sure they're spaced out just a little bit. So I'm gonna show you just so you can see what that looks like. So that makes sure you are covering your whole paper, but they're not sitting on top of each other, because that way you can see them move nicely in the wind when they all get blowing, which is gonna be really fun to see. Okay, so once your whole sheet is covered, this is the part that gets to be a bit tricky. So you might need somebody's help to make it a bit easier. You're gonna take your piece of paper and you are going to roll it into a cylinder shape. So it's gonna look something like that. I find you can use whatever you want. I think I like using a stapler best to hold your final piece into position. So you're gonna use staples to just get your paper. Make sure you get both layers in there. If you don't have a stapler at home, you can use tape instead, or you can use your glue stick again, and that works okay. And there you go. Once you've got that part finished, the last step is just to add some holes at the top using your hole punch. And then you're gonna cut a nice long piece of string, and this is the string that you're gonna use to tie your windsock to your tree. So when you're hanging it outside, you can see it nice and high, and it's not gonna go anywhere on you. So you're gonna feed your string through the holes, tie it in a knot. A double knot's usually a good idea, just so that it's nice and secure. Nice and tight. And then you're gonna do the same thing on the other side. And tying it in a knot, just like that. And there you go. With that, you have finished your own geometric windsock. Great job. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me this week as you made your own geometric windsock. Don't forget to share your creations with us at Visit Pama on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Every week this summer, like I said before, we're going to be doing a bunch of different activities that you can check out on our Pama at Home webpage. To do that, you can visit us at Pama, www.pama.peelregion.ca. Well, thanks again for coming, and I look forward to seeing you next week, where we're going to act it out and make our own mystic masks. Have a great week. Thanks for coming.